The Caspian Explorer is the newest exploration ship to hit Elite Dangerous, and early impressions have definitely shown a lot of mixed opinions. Let's take a look at all its angles. Let's start with how this thing looks, because, yeah, you probably noticed. A low-profile, saucer-like hull with 4 of its thrusters mounted on 2 lateral nacelles that extend out to the sides. Yeah, it's pretty obvious what they were going for here. But whether you love or hate the aesthetic, it does immediately communicate what the ship is for, and that's exploration. You know, in case you didn't get that from the fact that it's literally named the Caspian Explorer. In any case, the cockpit sits flush against the hull, which does give you a fantastic range of vision. Well, up and down at least. Side to side, not so much. But let's take a look at the insides, because that's where it really starts to separate itself from the other exploration ships. This is the first ship in the game that can mount a Class 8 frameshift drive, and it launched alongside an entirely new set of core internal modules that, at least as of now, are exclusive to this ship. The big one, obviously, is that Class 8 drive in the form of the brand new Mk II Supercharge-Optimized frameshift drive. And as the name implies, the difference comes when you supercharge your FSD by scooping the jet cone of a white dwarf or a neutron star. With the Caspian's new Supercharge-Optimized FSD, those numbers jump pretty dramatically. You'll now get a 200% boost from white dwarfs and an astonishing 500% boost from neutron stars. That's not a small tweak. That actually could fundamentally change long-distance travel. In fact, within days of its release, people were reporting Sol to Colonia runs in around 40 minutes, which is just bananas. And after flying this thing myself, I absolutely believe it. For my build, I did a basic long jump range build. I modified the new FSD with grade 5 extended range engineering and added the mass manager experimental effect. I also added a class 5 Guardian FSD booster. I also swapped out most of the other core modules with D-rated versions to cut down on mass. All that is pretty standard. And yes, I could cut down on mass even more with the lightweight and stripped down engineering for everything, but to be honest, I haven't had the patience for unlocking all of that yet. So this build is not the theoretical max, but that's not the point. With just what I have here, my max jump range is in the neighborhood of 83 light years, which is definitely impressive. But I do get about that with my Mandalay as well. But this is where the new Supercharge-Optimized FSD comes in. So let's go hit up a neutron star and check out what the supercharged jump range is. That's right, you can now get the same or bigger jump range in a Caspian Explorer than you can with a fleet carrier. And just to make sure it's not lying to me, let's give it a whirl. So, yeah, if you're looking to head out into the black, or make a trip to Colonia or Beagle's Point, this is a pretty big deal. A trip that used to take an entire afternoon's worth of playing time can now just be a couple of Netflix episodes. I tried it with a trip out to the Rosette Nebula, which is just about 6,000 light years away, and it took under 20 minutes, with jumps routinely over 400 light years per jump. Prior to the Caspian's introduction, that time would be outrageous. So, alright, we've got exploration covered. So, what about another extremely profitable venture that relies on having a good jump range? You guessed it, exobiology. Well, we've established that the Caspian is really good at getting you to where you're going really fast. But once you get there, the story can get a little bit more complicated. On the bright side, the Caspian comes with a few more brand spankin' new core modules. and these are aimed at making planet-side activities quicker and easier. The first is the Mk II ablative bulkheads, which are rated for extremely steep planetary entry angles and allow much higher glide speeds than we're used to. Being able to come in at a steeper angle and then glide much more quickly definitely made planetary approach both quicker and easier. And these are aimed at making planet-side activities more efficient. The other new module is the Mk II gravity-optimized thrusters, which cut in half the effect that a planet's gravity has on your ship in suborbital flight. So both these things are great, and they definitely do speed up the time it takes to get down to your targeted planet so that you can start scanning some plants. But that's where the problem comes in. The Caspian Explorer is a big ship. Its large footprint does make finding a suitable landing spot rough sometimes if you're not in a particularly flat area. And letting the auto-landing computer take over was like watching a 2-year-old have a temper tantrum. So it's obviously not a deal breaker, but on planets with uneven terrain, I started to miss the tiny footprints of my Diamondback or Asp Explorer. In some cases, not always, I felt like I was giving back a decent chunk of the time that I had saved on the trip over by having to hunt down a wide enough landing spot and then making my way back over in the SRV to the exobiology patch that I had spotted before. Overall, I'm sure I still saved more time than I lost on the journey, but just something to be aware of. So here's where I land on the Caspian Explorer overall. If your idea of exploration is covering massive distances via neutron boosting and getting from point A to point B as efficiently as physics will allow, this ship is in a league of its own. Right now, nothing touches it. The combination of the Supercharge-Optimized FSD and the bountiful fuel capacity makes it the undisputed king of long-range travel. But if your gameplay loop is more local, then the Caspian might feel a little excessive. It's not bad at that role, it's just not where it shines. For me, I actually haven't been to Colonia in a while, and the Caspian Explorer is talking me into heading back there, especially now that it would take like an hour. And who knows, I might just keep on going after I get there. But wherever your journey takes you, thanks for watching. Please hit that like button before you go, and as always, fly dangerously, Commanders. I'll see you next time.